If you're browsing the internet, you probably have seen pop-ups like these. Websites inform you how they use cookies and other data, and they require your consent. You often don't have to agree to use their websites, but it looks like it. This is because many websites intentionally design their notifications to make you click on what they want you to. These are called dark patterns, and they are used to discourage users from exercising their rights to privacy. Since the GDPR, a new privacy law in EU countries, was implemented in May 2018, companies have to ask for consent before processing data. Along with privacy by default and a lot of other requirements, this of course is a direct contradiction to internet companies that make money off of processing user data like Google and Facebook. So to protect their business model, these websites rely on the users giving them access to their data. The problem is, a lot of users wouldn't do that if they are given a clear choice. So websites make use of so-called dark patterns and design their forms in a way that makes clicking on the less privacy-friendly choice much more likely. Even if you knew about the privacy-friendly options, you may have noticed that they are usually a lot harder to get to. Let's analyze a few examples. Companies used design, symbols, and wording to influence the user's decisions. Often the notification is presented when the user is in a hurry and immediately wants to use the service. This isn't a coincidence. It puts pressure on the user to make a rash decision to be able to use the service. Since not using the website is not a viable option in many cases, the quick and easy solution of just accepting the default settings is very compelling. This ties in with another dark pattern, making the private option more work and more difficult to find. Instead of giving the user the option to either accept or decline, only the accept button is clearly visible and colorful. The privacy-friendly choice is hidden behind vaguely phrased and less noticeable buttons like other options or manage settings. On Google, the least privacy-friendly options are turned on by default. A great example of dark patterns is Google's ad settings page. Notice there are two types of buttons. One blue power switch for ad personalization on Google Search, and two orange buttons at the very bottom of the page to control ads personalization across the web. Contrary to the blue switch, it is impossible to tell which of the orange buttons is activated by default. The color is the same as the orange banner above, making them easier to miss. While clicking agree takes only one click to be finished, changing everything to the most private settings takes a total of 19 clicks. By the way, it's not very clear if the X is actually a decline button and you don't have to click on I agree. Another dark pattern in action. To further discourage users from turning on privacy-friendly settings, websites highlight loss of functionality and similar negative consequences. Google lists several negative results of turning off ad personalization without clarifying some of them. Does muting ads mean turning off the sound in ads? Or does it mean disabling certain kinds of ads? If you are in a work environment, you certainly wouldn't want noisy ads. Have you ever tried to object the processing of your personal data under the GDPR in WhatsApp? Since there is no simple setting in the app, you have to visit their website. Somewhere in the FAQ section under Security and Privacy, there's an article on this. According to this article, you have to write them an email that includes your personal information, a list of which data processing activity you are objecting to, which rights and freedoms you believe are impacted by the processing and why, and any additional information that might help them review your objection. Now, if making the effort to write an email instead of flicking a switch wasn't enough to discourage most users, it sounds to me like you would have to be a lawyer to comprehensively answer these questions. Because if your objection is not sufficiently grounded, WhatsApp will simply deny it. Or if they consider that their interests outweigh your fundamental rights and freedoms.